Yes, 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 yes. Good, 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 good. I'm always conscious when I put my hair up that I've got a sort of Marge Simpson look. Bart's mother, because it doesn't go well when you've got the Zoom background on.
Yeah, yeah.
But anyway, so I'm Aurora Dawn Campbell, your host as usual for our 30-minute midweek session on Ask Us Anything About Accreditation. And today I'm joined by Edith Gordon, author of 2 books, and she's pending her accreditation at the moment as a master coach based in Ireland. I don't know why, but I always want to go Ireland. Ireland. It sounds better than Ireland. And I, like Edith, I'm into all things holistic. So that's holistic well-being, whether that's personal products, household products, permaculture, and self-sufficiency. Also, Edith supports the Festina Lent. Is it Lent
Lente.
or Lente? Lente.
Lente. Cecina Lente.
Oh, it's a beautiful name, and it is a beautiful equestrian center of learning with a therapeutic coach training program, which hopefully is also going to shortly be accredited. So for all
Yay.
those people in Ireland who want to be trained as a coach and you've been wondering where to go, there's going to be an accredited course coming up soon for you to choose from, I hope. So, Edith, just to set the scene, these conversations I hear from other people are guilty pleasures. People are listening in to an interesting conversation, eavesdropping almost over a cup of tea or coffee, and thinking, wow, I didn't know there was such a thing as equestrian or therapeutic coach training, or being a permaculture coach or a divorce coach or a history coach or whatever it was.
Yeah.
So it could be people listening in who are interested in adding coaching and or mentoring to their skill set, or maybe they want to work with a coach or mentor. So anybody listening in, Edith is ideally placed to support you. Obviously, we do a lot of coaching online now, so it doesn't matter where you're listening around the world. Edith can help you with that. Because I'm very conscious of the fact that we're coming towards the end of the year and there'll be a
Yeah.
mad scramble to finish our New Year resolutions. It's never too late. So she can help you with those. But you may also be a training provider and thinking, well, how is accreditation going to help me attract international paying students? And of course, I keep saying to everybody, it's an unregulated market, but the more differentiators that you can adopt is going to help you stand out in what is a incredible be going through her accreditation. She works for a training academy. So all of these things help you stand out in a very crowded market and for somebody to pick you as an expert in your field. So there we go, Edith. So I'll start these questions. I think I know the answer because I've had so many, well, not so many, but really long conversations with you. I think I know the
Yeah.
answer to this, but outside of coaching, what fills your heart with joy?
Nature.
Yeah,
Being in
yeah.
nature, connecting with nature, having dirt in my hands, walking bare feet on the wet grass, enjoying a glass of wine in a wildflower meadow, things like that.
Oh, lovely. Well, you saying that you walk barefoot in the meadow reminds me of a book I read, Anastasia. Have you read that?
No, no, I
It's
haven't heard of
part of
it
the
either.
Cedarwood series. I don't know why they call it. It's a beautiful box set of 9 books, but they call it 8.5, a series of 8.5. And it starts with Anastasia, who's a human that lives in the woods in Russia. And she's come to teach humans how to live in nature better. And one of the things she says is walk barefoot,
Yeah.
because you imprint your DNA on the soil, and plants intuitively know what nutrients you need.
Oh,
So
wow.
therefore, your tomatoes will be different to my tomatoes if we
Yeah.
both work with our hands and our feet. It's a beautiful book and a beautiful series. The graphics are amazing on the covers. So yeah, there's another book recommendation for you.
Well,
So,
I can't imagine that because nature is energy. We are energy. So if you make the connection, you will get what you need from nature. And that's what I experience with coaching in nature, coaching with plant materials. And that's why I done the course with Festina Lente in social therapeutic horticulture. And it's magical to work with plants and to work with nature that way. It's unbelievable what happens with people because
mm,
you work with nature, and nature is a great metaphor for people to start talking instead of talking about their problems or their challenges in life. You use a plant and use that as a metaphor and make the plant talk to the person, where you say, like, what do you think the plant's needs are? And actually they start talking about their own needs. And after that, they realize, like, actually, that's what I need as well. There we go. And it's so nice to have that awareness, appearing during coaching and during conversations and the therapeutic work that I do.
mm. I must
Yeah.
admit, I mean, I hear a lot of course material and it is getting better every year. I mean, this industry is evolving beautifully and very, very holistically. So I'm attracted to a lot of the courses, but I was bowled over by the Festina Lenta course that you
Yeah.
took. I would love to do that, but I think it's quite a long course. It's not practical for me living in France and Spain to
No,
go backwards and forwards.
but they're looking into making it more adaptable and also do some elements in it there for doing it online as well. So they have a broader public that can join in. The
Mm,
course that I done was 6 modules divided over, say, 6, 7 months, and it was 3 full days after another. So I chose to do that because I needed time off anyway to be away from home and just enjoying the beauty of Wicklow, the area where we were, and having a B&B and just, be fully engaged in the course. And that was very nice to do. Yeah.
yeah, I am tempted. I seriously, you're a great ambassador for it because you're just blooming with health and enthusiasm for it. And having been on a permaculture course myself in France, um, but still working full time in an office, I feel very disconnected at times, and I want to get more and more involved in nature. Although, unlike you, I don't like getting dirt under my nails. I've got a bit of OCD, and so
Wear
yeah,
gloves.
yeah, exactly. I'm not keen on getting dirty, but I do know that when I help my husband in the garden, after a while, I start to relax and become more at one with what's going on. And yeah, people will be listening and thinking, well, how can you talk to plants? How can you hear what plants need and things like that? But I suppose I can relate it to a gamble I took. We inherited two old apple trees that were covered in white, which I thought was like a fungi. And we spent hours scraping it all off. And I pruned them to within an inch of their life. And my husband says, you've butchered them. This year they've come back beautiful, green, healthy. And I talked to them and they are proof to me that, like a good haircut, they can come back stronger.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, but it's talking to plants is also making the connection where the plant is giving you kind of information. So if you look at a very nice, sturdy tree, and what would the tree be telling you? So that's how I work with my clients. It's a very sturdy tree. And it's got lots of long branches. And said, what does that mean to you if it's what is sturdy in your life? Or what are you looking for in your life that you want to be sturdy? So that's the connection that you make. So you translate what they see and realize or feel with that tree into their life. So what does that mean to you? How would that look like in your life when you are a sturdy person, or when you have a sturdy person beside you? You know, it can go all kinds of directions.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I've got a Dutch friend who is very into gardening, and she's learning English and learning French. So it's
Mm.
she's got a beautiful accent, and it's all kind of a little bit mixed up sometimes. But she says he doesn't like it there, and she thrives there, and she knows so
Mm.
many great plants that she talks to them and she moves them around, and they're all he's or she's. She really has what I would hope that I would, learn to do is have this great connection that she has, and the
Yeah.
knowledge is incredible.
Yeah.
So I'm very interested, always been very interested, Edith, because as I started this series, and I ask people, what fills your heart with joy outside of coaching? It's interesting how their passion overlaps into coaching. So if it's photography, for instance, they talk about, what's the big picture, zooming in, get your focus on your coaching. And then if it's musical, it's what do you hear? And when such and such sings to you. So the language even
Yeah.
permeates the
Yeah.
coaching business quite organically. And I find that fascinating.
Yeah, it is. And what I like as a huge metaphor in social therapeutic horticulture is making use of nature and the circle of life. So even if people are in the depths of their life and they have all the shit around them, there's always something positive, because if you look at nature, and especially now, it's autumn getting into winter, and everybody's like, oh, but the plants are dying and the leaves are falling. I said, all right, is the plant really dying? What's happening to the plant? And then
Mm,
they realize it's not dying, it's retreating. Either it
mm,
retreats back into the roots and covers it over the winter to have a new growth back in spring, or the plant itself develops seeds, so the seeds will survive the winter and it will grow into a new plant in springtime. So
mm,
if you look at your own depth and your own things that are happening to you, what do you need in order to create that seed to be starting to grow again in springtime? Or if the leaves fall, what would the leaves change into? And then they'll say, yeah, it's compost. So, and what does compost do? It is the new energy for regrowth. So
mm,
if you have to discard something in your life, it's great because it can turn into compost and it can feed your new ideas, your new goals, your new ideas in life, which is, it's the
mm.
basics for change. And then
Yeah.
they're like, that's actually very nice. And it is. That's the circle of life. It's in each of
Yeah.
us.
Yeah. Yeah. And without the cold, which I hate, I can't bear it, which is why I come to Spain, in the winter time. But without the cold, the bad bugs won't die, the mycelium won't thrive and be ready
Yeah.
for the next year. And of course, out of compost, you get mushrooms, beautiful mushrooms, and so lots of positive stuff. It reminds me of a book I read last winter because I suffer with SAD. Um, and somebody said to me, read Wintering. This woman, I can't remember who wrote it. Have you come across that book, Wintering?
No,
It's kind of
I
like a
haven't.
diary for somebody who it started out. I think the lady was depressed and had SAD. And she decided to go walking every day and notice what was happening in the forest and diarize it, and would come
Hmm.
back with everything that she found. So there'd be an acorn, a feather from a bird,
Yeah.
um, a dead butterfly, a nut. And she started drawing them in her diary. It's a beautiful book to
Nice.
help, and you can read a page a day to get you through the winter. And the best chapter was on bees. I was just blown away by the bees, how their hierarchy is
Yeah.
probably the closest
Yeah.
to humans, that we're just no idea how intelligent they are.
Yeah. They are absolutely very intelligent. It's very interesting you're talking about bees because we have friends here and they have bees, but they also run bees beds. And a bee bed is something, I think it is even coming from Ukraine, where the bees are having their nests in beds, and you can lie down on top of the bed where you hear the buzzing of the bees and have the smell of the honey.
Oh
It's
my
so
goodness. I've never heard of that.
Yeah,
Wow.
it's very common in Ukraine to do that. So they built the beehives in a completely different structure, and it ended up being a bed. So it's very nice to do that as well. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Which is probably more natural to the bee habitat. I mean, nobody built them boxes with trays in before. They used to do their own thing. It's a new invention, as it were,
Yeah.
to have
Yeah.
bee hives because they
Yeah.
didn't need us beforehand. So, oh, that's interesting. I didn't even know that bees and wasps lived in the ground until I read in the newspaper 2 or 3 months ago that somebody out walking had actually accidentally kicked something. And I think it was a wasp nest. And then there was 200 wasps all over him, which is
Mhm.
obviously pretty terrifying. And people
Yeah.
are frightened of bees because they think of wasps, but of course
Yeah.
they're very different species.
Yeah, they are. Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah, and
Not
their
being
way of
tempted to keep
communication.
bees yourself.
No, no, but that's
No.
an interesting thing to look at. I mean, we thought about it, but then if you want to move bees, they need to have a certain distance, and our friends are too close. So if you are too
Right.
close, if you want to move a queen bee with her worker bees, if you're too close, they will move back to the old place. So yeah,
Mm.
we'll find
Ah, okay.
somebody further up to do that. But
Yes.
that's something that I probably would still like to do. But there's enough
Yeah.
bees in this area and people that I know. So yeah, sometimes
Yeah.
I even take them to my friend's house just for the client to experience being in the suit, connecting with the bees and
Mm.
getting rid of the fear as well, because a lot of
Yeah.
people are fearful for getting stung, and it's just breathe in and breathe out and just see what's happening and listen and feeling. It's very nice to do that connection.
Definitely. So when
Yeah.
you're working with people, you're not only working with agriculture or horticulture through coaching, but you're working with personal issues like fear as well. I didn't realize that.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, as well. So I work with groups. I work with elderly. I work with refugees. I work with individuals dealing with trauma, dealing with anxiety, finding their new ways in life, change, whatever is needed. And most people that come to me have also connection with nature. So I don't like to sit inside in a room. I either go walking or we go gardening, we go to the beach or we go into the mountains. We make
Mm.
it into an activity. And sometimes I even go into the kitchen and we bake bread together, if that's what comes up at that time, because I do a lot of recipes as well, nature-based, plant-based, and some people find that very interesting to just dig their hands and knead a bread and work the flour. And while you're doing that, you have conversations going, and after that, you have the nice result of having a fresh bread and put some nice butter in it and on it and just munching away on it. And that's so rewarding to do things like that.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah,
since the beginning of time, people have enjoyed breaking bread together and just, being still and just savoring the taste of the bread. And as you say, making bread's very therapeutic. Do
it
clients
is.
stay with you as well, Edith, or do they stay in the
No,
village?
they stay in the village, and I have accommodation that is available for people. I work with B&Bs,
Mhm.
um, just because I need my own space as well. So if I have a client around 24/7, it's not working.
No.
So I have a great B&B on top of the mountain, overlooking the bay towards the Skelligs. And I'm like, yay, why not? Why not go there? And we do our therapy sessions there. or our coaching sessions, or I can incorporate yoga with it. I can make a whole program for people just to have a kind of a retreat.
Great.
Uh, where coaching is part of it, and depending on what they want, I can pick locations. We can go into a subtropical garden with palm trees, or we can go to the beach, or we can go into a forest. Everything is so close by. Or we just garden and plant seeds, or harvest tomatoes, or pick weeds, or turn compost, whatever is needed at that time.
Mm. That's just reminded me. My cousin is very much into forest bathing, and he sent me a great photograph yesterday. So I'm going to send it to you. Are we on WhatsApp? I can't remember.
Yeah, I am. Yeah.
Have we connected?
I don't
Let
know.
me just have a quick check. If not, we'll do it over email.
Okay.
Uh, yes. Yes, we are connected. Great. I'm going to send you that lovely woody picture. So I'm just looking at my phone because Gillian, my VA, has sent me some messages. And I ask her to check all the social media if we've got any questions. Normally we don't have questions, they might come in afterwards. So let me have a look. No, no questions.
Okay.
So which is your nearest airport? Just throwing in a personal question there because
Uh, our nearest airport is Airport Kerry, Farran 4, which is 45 minutes away from us. And then we have Cork Airport, which is an hour and a half away from us.
okay, all right.
Yeah.
I'm just making notes because eventually I'm going to turn up on your doorstep. You realize that?
Yeah, that's fine.
And
I
you're going to
mean,
say, that's the B&B for you, because I know what it's like. I've had retreats and I've had people with me 24/7 and it's exhausting and it doesn't work. You're not fresh the next day
no,
because you can be busy tidying up the kitchen and they just pop down and stand in the doorway and chat and you just think, go away, I'm trying to prepare. So I don't do that anymore.
no,
But I love taking people into the kitchen. I love taking them out and audit walking, but no more 24/7 where they stay with us. No, it
no.
doesn't work.
No,
Mm.
unless you have a good accommodation where which is self-catering, then they can do their own thing, and that's fine.
Yes.
But
Yeah.
not if they're in the house and you have to serve breakfast or dinner or whatever,
Yeah.
because they come to you if there's something not right, and then you have to sort it straight away instead of being in the zone of being there for them on a
Mm,
coaching therapeutic base.
yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
what was your journey? How did you get into coaching, Edith?
I got into coaching long, long time ago. I think before it even was called coaching,
Yeah.
maybe. I started my education as being a nurse, and after a year, I realized, I like to help people and work with them, but I wanted to do more mental work with people. So I changed into a study of psychology, which I done in Holland at the University in Utrecht. And that was the first course they started in dealing with post-traumatic stress disorder. So that was very new. That was in 1987. Yeah, out of my head. So it was with a new professor, it was a new era, and that's where I started to learn, okay, we can help people rediscover themselves and dealing with trauma and major life. How you work with major life events in your life. And during my studies, I realized that I'm not the therapy kind of girl where you need 30 sessions in order to be healed. I'm more the coaching. I'm hands-on, I'm very practical. I love to work with experiences, doing stuff, giving them exercises, work together on finding their way in life. And so I started working that way, which everybody said like, oh, that's not the therapeutic way. You should do that. And I'm like, I'm going to do it my way. And it worked really well.
Mhm.
Um, and some psychology centers didn't want to work with me because they said, I'm not following their protocols. I was doing my own way. So since then, I started to become self-employed, done loads of courses on reading human behavior, working with behavior, how you can make changes in behavior. I done courses in Reiki. I done courses in herbalism. And I wanted to connect everything, really. Also done some art courses because people are creative as well. And that's how I ended up working. It was very interesting working in the corporate world for businesses, how to deal with crisis within their company. And I was setting up a situation with actors in a very creative way and teaching them how to, or letting them experience how to deal with crisis in their life. And that was so interesting. And I used all the things that I gathered over the years. I said goodbye to that life a couple of years ago, just before COVID hit. And I was like, I want to do more with the individual clients.
Mhm.
And that's where I done the course in social therapeutic horticulture. And I was like, yeah, this is it. I always was, nature was my place to be. And now I can share that with other people as well in a very simple way. So
Mhm.
that's how my journey started in 87, long time ago.
Yes, yeah. And
Yeah.
the fact that horticulture and coaching just dovetails so well is just such a
Yeah.
gift. It must be a unique niche market that you're in, because I don't think I've come across anybody else doing this.
There is in England, you have the organization Thrive. They work a lot with social therapeutic horticulture, but more on group sessions with special needs and elderly and carers, home care, and things like that. And the Festina Lente course is not that long yet. I think it's 3 or 4 years. So with the course I done 2 years ago, or 3 years ago nearly, we with a couple of students, we decided we have to start an association because there's nothing here, And so we started the Association for Social Therapeutic Horticulture in Ireland. And this March, we are 3 years young. And this is how we connect all the people who are interested in social therapeutic horticulture, where they can find us, pinpoint us, but even businesses or individuals, they can look up the map and find a coach facilitator in their area. So we like to be of service as an association to make it more common.
Mm-hmm.
And
And that's
we're
one of the
talking,
reasons I put you in touch with Bettina, because
yeah,
she's a German living in Ireland, passionate about horticulture. So
yeah,
I'm
yeah,
sure you'll have some good conversations with her as
yeah.
well. Let me just check my phone again, in case there's any messages from Gillian. Nothing yet. So what typically is the scenario that you work with? What's your ideal client, Edith?
My ideal client is a person that is looking for growth in a different way. Like they know that they have to do something, but they're not sure which direction or where to start. And then we're just gonna sit down in nature and see what comes up. I start probably with some relaxation exercises. There's a beautiful exercise that I do myself. And it's actually an exercise from David Attenborough where you just sit down in nature, close your eyes, focus on your breathing, and then open up your senses, hearing, smelling, feeling the wind on your skin, tasting, without your eyes. You don't see anything, but you hear it, you feel it, you sense it, you smell it, you taste it. And then do that for 10 minutes. And then it is like feeling re-energized. And you're kind of surprised about all the things that are going on around you. And you're like, I thought it was always silent, when I went outside, but so many details that you can become aware of. So this focusing exercise really helps people to go back into themselves and focus on their needs. And that's where we start talking about their needs. So, what are your needs? And then we have a walk around, and I ask them, for instance, so pick a couple of plants or images of nature that are representing your needs. And then we start talking about that. So it's an easy conversation to do it that way. So they explain about the plant, what the plant's needs are, and then actually it's what they need. So it's so nice. And you can go into quickly into the depth of what they want or what their needs are.
Mm. So that means that all your clients are either local or prepared to come to Ireland and have
Yeah. Yeah.
multiple sessions.
Also, but I also do it online where, with the new technology, we can do a Zoom or a Skype or a Teams meeting where I'm on the phone with them and we go through nature and we are physically not together, but I'm in their ear or in their face,
Yeah.
which is also possible to do. I have some nice online clients where I've been working now 2 years with a couple of clients that are working in nature with me.
Yeah.
So walking through
Mm.
their garden, through their forest, whatever is around them, or even a balcony, if they only have a balcony looking after a couple of plants
Yes.
on there.
Yeah. Okay. I've just written down a couple of books that I must give you offline as things pop. But when you were talking, I was just thinking this is a great one. If you've not read it,
Yeah,
this is for therapists.
yeah,
Um,
I know that one.
Lessons
Yeah,
on mindfulness in meditation. And he does a very similar exercise where he asks them to just sit quietly looking out the window,
mm,
and really observing. And as you say, people thought, oh, it was so silent when they're outside, and it's not. It's a hive
no,
of activity, no pun
yeah.
intended. But well, perhaps just a little one. But yeah, uh, if you haven't read that, I definitely recommend that one. Lots of good practices in there. Um, so you're about to be accredited, which means you'll have a shop window in the international directory at the IAPC&M. In the meantime, Edith, where can people get hold of you if they're thinking, she's the woman for me, she's the coach for me? I'd like to know more and improve myself in a different way. How can people find you?
They can go to my website,
Mhm.
www.ingredients for well-being, and the four is a number four.
Okay, all right. And there you've got your books up there because I was looking at your cheese, alternative
Yeah,
plant-based cheese book.
plant-based cheese book, cleaning books, and things like that. So yeah,
Yes. Yeah. I think I'll be buying the cheese book because my
yeah,
husband is very he's cut out, well, we only eat coconut cheese or cashew nut cheese or something like that. But he does like cheese and he wants to keep his cholesterol healthy. So
yeah,
I thought your book might give me more inspiration.
yeah.
Mm,
Yeah, and
okay.
I started the plant-based cheese book, and there's gonna be more books to follow with plant-based ingredients where you use the wholesome whole ingredients. I don't like the products, the plant-based or vegan products that you buy in the shop because they're full of preservatives.
Yeah.
Why do I want to preserve myself? No, thank you.
Mm,
So they won't, they last for 3 to 5 days, but it's good enough. You can make small
yes.
batches or you can put it in the freezer, and it's made out of nuts, seeds, grains, instead of only the oils to firm it up. There's beautiful recipes in there, even a Swiss um, um, cheese fondue recipe, and I made a knock egg recipe, how to work with plant milk, how to make your own plant milk, how to work with the pulp from the leftovers. No, it's so nice and it's zero waste. So,
Yes,
all
exactly.
for it.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
when I make jam, it only lasts for 3 or 4 days because it's fresh.
yeah,
Not That's if there's any left after, it hasn't been eaten, but it wouldn't keep for a week, I don't think, in the fridge. Because I like to make it in small batches, fresh as I go. I'm very big onto plant-based pâtés at the moment because we've
nice.
cut out bread, so we're using cucumber, lettuce, etc. as our sandwich. So I'm trying to come up with lots of different pâtés to keep my husband interested, as he weans himself off goat's cheese and things like that.
Yeah,
But yeah, it's fascinating. It's really very doable to take responsibility for our health, isn't it?
absolutely.
And
Yeah,
I was talking to somebody yesterday that type 1 diabetes is becoming more prevalent. It always used to be that people were born with it, but now they're
yeah,
developing it. Um, yeah, we're digging our graves very slowly with our teeth if we're not careful.
yeah, I think so too. Yeah. At the moment, we've got some rhubarb wine going and some zucchini wine. You know,
Oh,
we had an
yes.
overload on zucchini, and we're like, yeah, what to do with it? Let's make wine out of it.
Yeah, I love zucchini bread.
Yeah, yeah, it's so nice, isn't it? Yeah. Mm.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah.
Right, one quick last check if there's anything. Da, 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 da. No, she's just telling me that it hasn't gone live on YouTube. She's doing this manually because this normally goes out on 5 channels: YouTube,
Okay.
LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok, I think it is, but it doesn't always work every single time. So you'll be able to engage with Edith on any of those channels where we're going to make sure that this conversation, all too brief conversation, because I could chat to Edith for, well, probably days, to be honest. And
Yeah.
I will pitch up with my motorhome for sure next year or the year after the next time I'm in the UK and Ireland for a visit. And we'll spend some more time together. But I love talking to you. Thank you for sharing your inspirational
Very welcome.
journey into coaching and how you've merged your passion for horticulture with coaching. It's a fantastic niche. So people are always interested, and it's a popular question that we get is, how do I choose my niche? And I'm saying, what are you passionate about?
Exactly.
That's possibly the best way to go. So I'm conscious of time. I have to let you go, but thank you, thank you, thank you, Edith. Any
Thank
questions that you thought of after listening to this conversation, or you were too shy to post, then just contact Edith either on her website or through the IAPC&M contact page or on the social media chats. We'll make sure she gets it. All
Great.
right.
Thank you
So
so much.
thank you, Edith. Lovely to see you again. Speak to you
All
soon. And I'll
right.
see everybody else next week. Thank
Yeah.
you. Bye-bye.
Namaste. Bye.
Namaste.